All right. It appears that we are indeed finally live on YouTube. So welcome everyone to yet another edition of the 4GwQPodcast. This is episode number 191 for December 6, 2018, slowly approaching Christmas. For whoever celebrates it, happy Hanukkah. Hanukkah started recently, didn't it? I feel like Hanukkah already started.
It did. Yeah, I saw some tweets on Twitter.
Yeah, for everyone who celebrates that, happy Hanukkah. Whatever you celebrate, happy holidays. I celebrate Christmas, so can't wait to get my tree tomorrow, but that's neither here nor there. We have some important gaming news to talk about before we watch the Game Awards later on tonight.
So excited for that.
Oh, yeah, super excited. We'll get into some of the leaks that came out from that, or about that, I should say, not from that because it hasn't happened yet. But we will get into some of this week's topics. But first, let me introduce the panel this week. Our fourth chair is empty yet again, but next week it will not be, for sure. I'm Inferno217. We also have with us this week, making his 191st straight appearance, albeit some shaky appearances recently. We've got CPCI Assassin. What's going on, bud?
Hey.
And last but not least, we have Italian Clowns, who made his debut episode as a full member of the Inner Circle podcast last week. So congratulations on that. What's going on, bud?
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. And, I hope everybody has a great night tonight at the Game Awards. Watch some Super Mario Brothers movie. It's a good night.
If you guys aren't familiar with what he's referring to, he was, flamed a bit for suggesting Super Mario Brothers the movie could be the best best video game movie made. But are there any really good video game movies? I know Assassin was like, I was talking about this with Assassin in party chat, and he was like, "Oh, the Resident Evil movies are definitely the best."
First one.
Oh, the first one. And I cannot agree with that. Those movies are a snore fest, dude. The animated ones are way better. Siberia's backing you up, Clowns, in the chat. He says, "How can you not be? That was a great movie."
Siberia, I feel that in the heart, man. Me and you, bros for life.
Well, let's get right into it because we got a lot of topics to discuss before tonight's events at the Gaming Awards, and I'm sure next week our discussion will be dominated by the Gaming Awards results. If there are any surprises or whatnot, I'm sure we'll be talking about Game of the Year next week and how we feel about that selection. But nonetheless, we'll talk about a few things tonight. We'll talk about what the hell is going on with Bethesda. We'll open up with that for a little bit. We don't want to beat a dead horse or anything, so we'll be quick with that topic. But we'll also talk about, the PlayStation Classic finally coming out this week. That thing's a disaster. People have been hacking it already, loading custom ISOs, all that kind of stuff. Plugging USB keyboards in and hitting escape to access menus that should just be accessible to everyone. Marketing, all this crazy nonsense that, has dug Sony a hole in that regard. We'll talk about some new stuff added to PS Now, GameStop getting hit big in the wallet, $500 million losses almost, so that's a pretty big deal. Battlefield 5 already looking like it's in fire sale, which isn't a good sign, especially 2 weeks after, or just about 2 weeks after the game came out as a standard edition. And we'll talk about some leaks that came out prior to the Game Awards tonight that I guess were going to be announcements during the show, but since the cat was out of the bag, I think these companies just went ahead and confirmed them. But all right, so before we do that, let's just give a shout out to our partnership with the Inner Circle Network. We are an affiliate podcast. There are other affiliate podcasts that are excellent. I would recommend my buddy Stinger over at the OG Next Level Gaming podcast. That's going to be on this Friday night, 9:30, I believe. I think that's the next affiliate podcast that is up in rotation. So you guys should check that out, and you should check out the link below for the website for the Inner Circle Network. As I said before, Clowns is a full-time member now on the Inner Circle podcast. which is a pretty good one too. So you guys should check that out as well. What the hell's going on over here in the chat? The new Tomb Raider movie. Somebody said the new Tomb Raider movie. No way. Who said that?
That movie's a joke.
Nah, I can't agree with that. I don't think that movie's any good.
Gotta check it out. I trust my man Siberia.
I mean, she's a babe, but other than that, I mean, I don't think the movie's that great.
Clowns, think of the Tomb Raider, the reboot that came out like 2012 or whatever, and then remove all the like. And then you got that.
Wait, it didn't come through the mic. Remove all the what?
All the good parts.
Oh, the good part.
And you got that.
I never saw the 2012 version.
Never played the game, really?
Oh, play the game. I thought he said the movie as well. Yeah, the game. Yeah, it is essentially an exact copy off of what you'd expect from the games. But I mean, I prefer this chick over Angelina Jolie. I won't lie about that. That's a good part of it. I think this girl's way hotter than Angelina Jolie in those movies. But other than that, I mean, I didn't think it was that great. I thought it was really, really far fetched. But anyway, all right. So let's get into this really quick. Don't want to, take this topic for a joyride here. I just want to put this out there and just get a feeler from you guys, especially since you guys are the ones playing Fallout 76 right now. You guys are the ones who bought the game. I am just a bystander. But what the hell is going on with Bethesda right now? I mean, got a couple controversies going on. First of all, they substituted in what's the special edition called that was supposed to come with that bag? I can't remember what the edition is called.
I think it's just the Power Armor Collector's Edition.
So that's what it is. The Power Armor Collector's Edition was supposed to come with a nice canvas or cloth bag. It came with nylon bag, one of those cheap ass ones that you see guys throwing at you on New York City streets. So they definitely could have done better with that, and then they blamed it on a supply issue or something like that, which is complete nonsense.
Not enough materials.
Not enough material. Yeah. China's really killing us on our canvas, let me tell you. And also, a little bit of a debacle here with the way they rectified that situation, because if you have seen recently, it looks like that they opened up support tickets for you to get cloth bags sent to you to rectify it. But I guess those support tickets with all of your information were accessible by other users, so people were seeing on their Bethesda accounts that support tickets for a bunch of other people. I mean, there's pictures on Twitter if you want to look. I mean, there's people that had like 20 tickets in their inbox or whatever of people's personal information, addresses, potentially credit card use, place the game was bought, full names, sensitive information was leaked. So I know, Clowns, you brought this to my attention. Really, I think you were the one kind of forcing the issue in the DM about this being a huge deal, but
it actually is kind of a huge deal. I think there's a ton of support tickets. It's not just the support tickets for the Power Armors edition that people can see. If you look closely at the leaked photos of everyone that posted on Reddit before they got taken down, you could see issues with like Fallout 4. People can't link their accounts to Fallout 4. So, I mean, it's a pretty big deal, because not only could you see the information, you could update their tickets. You could upload stuff. So, I mean, you could take an inappropriate photo, just for example, if you were like a little heckler or troll, and go into somebody's support ticket and be like, oh, I'm going to upload this, and cause some mischief. But, they try to take down the support ticket system. I said it was down. But thanks to a little knowledge from your brother in the past, gave me some ideas. You can actually use the inspector tool in Firefox and reopen the submit button and submit a brand new ticket if you wanted to.
Wow.
They just disabled it, and you just go in there with the inspector tool and click enable, and you can submit all over again.
Wow. I mean, it's a big deal, because obviously there's, first of all, it shouldn't have been a big deal in the first place, because they should have just given us the fucking canvas bag. I mean, I didn't buy it, so I can't really complain, but I mean, I feel other people's pain. If you spend that kind of money, you expect one thing, and then, they give you something else. But, this is sensitive information we're talking. I mean, this is like, names and addresses are sensitive enough. I mean, it's not like it's social security numbers, but you know, some people can put the parts together, and this is a really, you know, an insecure thing. So I expect a company like Bethesda to handle it a little bit better, and I expect the team over there that's managing their site to figure out what's going on with that submit button nonsense and not have it just be, you know, restored by going through the inspector tool. I mean, Jesus.
That's pretty bad.
Really
Not
bad.
gonna lie. They could have just removed the code so there was no submit button, period.
Yeah, really, really bad. Really bad. Sasson, what's your thought on this, bud?
It sucks to see a company like Bethesda just can't win, you know. They in the past they did really well, and now it's just, you know, they took the L over and over and over, and then they try to rectify it, and it's just like, nope. Fuck you, take the L again.
Wait, so you're actually sympathetic?
Oh, it just sucks. Like it's a terrible thing what, you know, just happened, right? But it just sucks to see it, just this huge company just screw up so much. You would expect this from like EA these days, you know, not Bethesda.
Yeah. We'll get into that in a little bit with EA, but I mean, I agree. I think Bethesda. I think Bethesda before all this nonsense with Fallout 76 and, you know, the game in and of itself and this whole launch debacle with the power armor and, you know, the insecurities here with the support tickets. I think before that, I think Bethesda was approaching like what we would call, you know, like infallibility. You know what I mean? Like, you know, Blizzard, Rockstar, these companies have been seen to do no wrong. But like Bethesda, I think it was getting to that point, and now, you know, this completely derailed that path.
I mean, there's two things I want to say on this real quick. One is that the people that worked on the website, I hope they're working on the patches on the game. Incredible loopholes and, you know, glitches. And two, Rockstar had some pretty crappy bugs in Red Dead 2. The invisible trampoline that people were running into, just flying up in the air and landing on the ground.
Exactly, but
come on.
That's exactly the point that I think we're trying to make here, is that like Rockstar got away with that. Like, do you see people going online being like, Red Dead 2 is a piece of shit, like, you know, blah, 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 or, you know, company's dead, the series is dead, like Red Dead, they should never make another one because the series is dead. But I'm seeing people say that about Fallout 76, like about Fallout as a series. They're like, oh, this is enough to derail the series in general, which I don't agree with, but I've seen that. And then, you know, people are like looking at that Rockstar thing and they're like, oh, that's cute. I mean, look how high my horse gets in the air and then I fall and die and lose my progress. Oh, that's cute. You know what I mean? That's how people look at that kind of thing.
I just hope that those people run into it on the online server so that the nice brand new horse that they just bought money for in the game, dead.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we'll hear some complaints.
Right, exactly.
I was just gonna say, I mean, the Rockstar's name is tied to it. Like, if there was bigger issues of information getting out and stuff, then I feel like, you know, the people wouldn't let it slide.
Well, I mean, look
just
at
like if Fallout.
Okay, go ahead.
If Fallout 76 was, you know, really good, and, you know, they never had, you know, the nylon bags were still there, but like, you know, I feel like people would let it slide a little bit more. That Fallout 76 was is now. So.
Right. No, I mean, that's a good point. Yeah, that's good. That's a good point. That's a good point. But I feel like, you know, there are certain companies out there that get, you know, definitely get more shots. Like, for instance, with the Red Dead thing, like, how big of a deal was that whole crunch nonsense going on, you know, when everyone was hammering on Rockstar? And, you know, how quickly was that forgotten? What did Red Dead come out, like a month ago? Not even. And I think like a month ago, that kind of. When did Red Dead come out? A month and a week ago, something like that. October 26th, something like that. Let me look it up.
I feel like more people will be more pissed off if it affects them. Yeah, 26. You know, as it affects other, you know, the workers. Like the loot boxes in Battlefront 2 was pay to win. That affects the gamer. They were pissed. If Battlefront 2 didn't have that and they had crunch, they probably wouldn't care, you know.
Yeah.
Canvas bags affects they're pissed off.
Yeah.
Everyone's just getting pissed off because it's happening to them, and
right.
They can relate and stuff. So
kind of selfish in that regard a little bit, but I mean, people. I mean, that's kind of human nature, unfortunately. Shanzu in the chat says Bethesda's trying to lower its stock value so that Microsoft will buy them. I mean, hey, I've seen crazier things, right? Microsoft's been snatching up a bunch of different developers and studios lately, so. I mean, I don't think that's the case, but I mean, hey, I put this slide up here and I just put what the fuck is going on with Bethesda. I just have no idea what's going on with them lately. You know, like I figured they'd be they'd make an announcement about how hard at work they are at fixing Fallout 76. I mean, I know you guys having fun with it, but I know a lot of people have, you know, some pretty big complaints about it, and you know, the reviews were not that good. I feel like they'd be so hard at work trying to rectify everything that could possibly be wrong with this title, and then, you know, it's just thing after thing after thing these days, and, you know, gets called like another EA, if you will. But all right, let's move on because we got a few other things we want to talk about here. Let's see. All right, so the PlayStation Classic's out. This thing's a disaster, huh? Jeez. So, thing came out, $100, as we've talked about before on the show. Came out on the 3rd, which was what, Tuesday? I don't even know my dates now. Monday. And everybody was testing it. The emulation's not great on a lot of the titles. I believe there's, I don't know, like close to half of the library, somewhere between a quarter and a half of the library that come as default as the PAL versions, which is not a good thing, because if you are unaware, PAL versions run at 50 frames per second and not 60, or should I say 50 hertz instead of 60, which means if you run it over here in the US or on a non-PAL set, you will be seeing it a lot slower than you're used to. And so for fighting games like Tekken 3, which is arguably one of the better games on the unit, it runs like, it looks like, you know, you're running it in molasses. It looks like you're running it on, you know, like a 386 computer, if people know what that is. So it's, you know, it's been a rough road. You know, we obviously saw that Sony announced only like 5 games from the get-go, and then when they filled in the rest of the roster, it looked like it was pathetic compared to what was in the PlayStation lineup back in the day. And, you know, we even got some more information about that. Let me see if I can find that slide really quick. I mean, apparently, data miners, IGN reported this, I think, first, but data miners, you know, found out that there were other games that were tested on the unit, ran, and were rejected. And I don't know if you guys saw this. You see the list of the games that were supposed to be on this thing? I mean, some of them were like incredible.
Yeah, there was some that I was like, it would have, you know, I would have questioned if I, you know, would have got one.
Like what?
Like Silent Hill. Like, I always wanted to play a Silent Hill game.
Yep.
Since we'll probably never get one.
Yeah, true.
PT. So that, and they tried the Tomb Raiders. I saw the Crash and the Spyros on there. I know they're the remastered.
Right.
But, I mean, that would have been, you know, at least have one Crash, one Spyro. That would have been cool.
Dude, if you look at this list, there's like 5 games on here that it's inexcusable that they weren't on the system. And I understand some of them, it's all about licensing. I feel like Sony went into this thinking, we're going to produce this system. We need to make the most profit off it without royalties or any kind of licensing deals and stuff. We need to essentially only put things on here that have the best licensing deals we can possibly get. Because, for instance, like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, like, that's got to be on there. I'm sorry. Like, that is an iconic PlayStation game. That's an iconic game of that generation, without question. That's got to be on there. Silent Hill, like you said, got to be on there. Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver, I think that's got to be on there. I'm a racing fan, so I really was hoping, you know, something like Colin McRae Rally or like Crash Team Racing or something was on there. But yeah, Clowns, did you see the list at all of the games that were supposed to be on here?
No, but I heard that people were finding the list of the games that were supposed to be on there. But I mean, I do got good news for everybody that does have one of these. You can mod it and put those games on there anyway.
Yes.
And you can put the 60 hertz versions on there. So,
dude, just hit the escape button, right? That's all you got to do. Hit that. That's not for loading the ISOs. Loading the ISOs, that's going to be, a different situation. I think that Asian guy, forgive me for not knowing exactly what country in Asia he's from, but there was a video of an Asian guy who, took the board out, USB, connected it to his computer, and was able to load ISOs and stuff. That was really quick, and the game played it, I guess, pretty flawlessly. But like you said with the 60 hertz thing, with certain keyboards, I guess it doesn't work on all keyboards, which is kind of interesting. But on certain keyboards, you hit the escape button, plug it in, hit the escape, and you can re-enable that 60 hertz. Which, why the hell wouldn't they just enable it from the get-go? I mean, what is the reason for that? Or no scan lines, like you can enable scan lines for that vintage look. I know some guys in the chat
maybe
are big
somebody
fans of that.
Oh crap, they took down MU Paradise ROMs. I don't know where we're going to get them from now, guys.
Dude, the funny thing about this PlayStation Classic thing is that the emulator they're using is an open source emulator from, that's ages old. Like it's a popular open source emulator. And there's no excuse for some of these games not to run. Like, it runs a ton of these games without issue. And I feel like that these rejected games just have everything to do with money and nothing to do with performance. You know what I mean?
I mean, this is a good opportunity for Soulja Boy to market his emulation stations. Like, hey guys, you got the messed up PlayStation? Come over here. I got this good stuff,
Yeah. Yep. Good friend Saltiest Gaming in the YouTube chat says the most half-baked console launch since Soulja Boy. Well, time will tell with that Soulja Boy one. Time will tell, right? I mean, what was it? Geoff Keighley today was pumping up that Soulja Boy console a little bit, a little sarcastically, I think, but he was pumping that thing up, man. So let's see what happens.
The Soulja Boy consoles are actually made by a company I believe called Ambernick, and you can get them on Amazon like $100 cheaper.
Yeah. I'm not surprised at all. People will just buy that shit for the Soulja Boy name. People are such suckers, dude. I don't know. This is kind of like this is way off topic, kind of. Not really, but there's this company of shoe that's called Bathing Apes. I don't know if you ever heard of that. Bathing Apes. I think that's the name of the company. It's something Assassin would really want to buy, I think. The website is bape.com, BAPE.com. And literally the shoes look just like Air Force Ones, like Nike Air Force Ones, if anyone's familiar with that. Looks just like that. But because, they're expensive and they're Bape brand, people buy them, even though they're essentially the same exact shoe. So, point being is that the Soulja Boy thing I think is going to sell, but...
Yeah, it's all right. He's got his own cell phone now on there, his own knockoff Android watch. So, I mean... Dude, he's a businessman. He's got the hustle.
He's pushing those knockoff electronics, dude. He's pushing like those guys in New York City streets, man. Those knockoff electronics. Check out this image though. I pulled this image I think from Dreamcast guy on Twitter. Had this image of a local Best Buy where it says PlayStation Classic. The sign says PlayStation Classic, $99, limit one per customer. So they obviously expected it to perform like the NES Classic and the SNES Classic, which is an absolute joke. And take a look at how many they have left. I mean, if you look at the shelf, it is loaded. Like, no one's buying this thing. And so Salty says limit one per customer. LOL. Yeah, I mean, it's laughable, dude. It really is a joke. And what's sad is that Nintendo, I feel, I don't know if you guys agree, and I know I've said this in the podcast, but I don't know if you guys agree with this. Nintendo essentially invited Sony to win this classic battle by not releasing an N64 Classic. Like, this was the perfect opportunity for Nintendo to blow PlayStation away on this classic front, and they didn't take the opportunity and essentially invited Sony to take back, this whole retro revival thing that's going on, and they couldn't even do it. You know what I mean? It's like, what the hell? So Assassin, before we what else do I got? I got another slide here. John Linneman from Digital Foundry. He posted this kind of joking review, but it's true. I mean, he absolutely hated the thing, and he's a huge retro gamer. And he jokingly gave it 0.5 neg cons out of 4. A load of rubbish, he says. So, I mean, a lot of people are just hating this thing. And I think it's gonna go down as one of the worst console releases, of modern times. Obviously before like the crash of the video game market back in the 80s, those probably went a little bit worse. But I mean, I'm looking at stuff like the 3DO clowns. I'm looking at stuff like TurboGrafx even did better. I'm thinking about stuff like, I don't know what else, like the Atari Jaguar, the Atari Lynx. Like, I think more people bought like that N-Gage, like that Nokia N-Gage cell phone gaming system. I think more people bought that shit than this.
I think more people bought the ad games than this.
Oh, no doubt, dude. Everyone hates those ad games too. People, and they got to be making some money, right?
Yeah, I think like their average like a 2.5 stars out of 5. They got higher ratings than this classic.
Incredible, just incredible. Assassin, you gonna buy one? What do you think? What if you got one as a gift, dude? You've been looking for a Switch. I know you've been dying for a Switch. What if like your mom comes home and it's like, "Merry Christmas, little Tommy ZPCI Assassin," and gives you a PlayStation Classic? What is your reaction to be?
Oh, thanks.
Now for
let's let's redo this. What if your mom comes home and she's like, "Hey Tommy, I got you something special, bud," and then you open it up, it's Soulja Boys.
That's Soulja Boy.
Yeah,
good.
I think I would be speechless, and I would have like a confused look on my face, and like,
dude, Daz in the YouTube chat, Assassin says better than socks, but I'm gonna let Assassin take the floor right now and explain what kind of gifts he usually gets from his family for Christmas. So, and if you don't believe this, he can provide pictures. So, Assassin, what kind of gifts do you usually get from your family?
I think 2 years ago I got a toaster. Sure. I got a book. I think it was for my birthday. When I turned 18. It was How to Talk to People.
Dude, I remember you got those
book.
plates and the plates and silverware you got one year.
I haven't got silverware yet.
Oh, just
probably
plates?
this Christmas.
Oh, maybe this Christmas they'll spring for the Macy's deluxe silverware package for you.
Had a can opener, not an electric one, the one you use by hand.
Oh wow, dude, they sprung for the big bucks on that. What about what you said the book, but were you referring to that book that was like essentially how to move out and grow up or some shit like that?
Oh, how to talk to people.
How to talk to people, that's what it was, yeah. Jesus
I have it
Christ.
somewhere here.
Oh man. Anyway, I don't know. Like, I know it's different because, we're adults now. I live on my own. But I think I'd rather get dishes than this PlayStation Classic. Legitimately. Because this thing is that bad. If I wanted this, I would just, run the, whatever it is, the EPSX emulator on like an Android TV box and call it a day. Or like a Raspberry Pi or something like that. Call it a day because I'm not paying $100 for this thing. You can buy good.
I found the book, The Fine Art of Face-to-Face Communication for Teenagers.
There you go.
Oh my god. Anyway,
you return the object.
You can what?
Help him, go through the return line.
Oh, yep, good. Well, let us know if you guys got one of these PlayStation Classics. I talked to a couple people who got one. They were very disappointed, obviously. I mean, once you feel that controller and there's no joysticks, I mean, Rainbow Six, I mean, why is that game even on there? Jesus. I'd rather get $99 worth of Spam for Christmas. I mean, Assassin loves Spam. He would definitely.
Never had it.
Really? If you go to Hawaii, that's like a lot of the food they sell over there has Spam on it. No joke. I mean, if you go to McDonald's, it's got Spam on it.
I know.
It's crazy. Daz would rather buy 99 copies of Dear God than get the PlayStation Classic. I gotta agree.
Awful.
I gotta agree with that. All right, another PlayStation news this week. 50 new PlayStation 4 games were added or are being added. I don't think they've been added quite yet in their entirety, but PlayStation Now, as you know, lowered the price a little bit. I think you can get PlayStation Now right now for $80 for a year subscription, which is pretty good. And also PlayStation Now has solved a few of the issues that we've had with it in the past, which means that you can download the games like you can with Games Pass or the like. I mean, back in the day when you had to just stream them all the time, I mean, you couldn't even like party chat on the PlayStation at the same time. It was that bad of an experience. But you can now download the games. You get rid of that input lag potentially. And so PlayStation Now is looking better and better. But Clowns, I don't know if you saw this, bud, but I think you're the one who sent me the link about this, adding the PlayStation 4 games, and they like came out and they were like, oh yeah, we added 50 PlayStation 4 games, and For Honor is one of them. So people are like, oh, like, wow, For Honor, like that's a AAA title. That's, not a Sony title, and that's a pretty good value add, right? But then you look at the rest of the games. Did you happen to look at the rest of the games, or did you see the list?
Because when I looked, they didn't have the full list up yet.
They don't. They still don't. And there's a reason for that, because they're trash. The press release literally just says leading the pack is Ubisoft's epic combat game, For Honor. And then it talks about For Honor, like what For Honor is, as if the game hasn't been out for a couple years. It's like For Honor features 12 base heroes to choose from and customize, blah, 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 right? Goes on and on and on about For Honor. Okay, great. You're proud of For Honor being added. Fair enough. All right? Fair enough. But then it's like other new PS4 games this month. It doesn't say all the 50. It just says this. Other new PS4 games this month include the open world Adventure Time Pirates of the Enchiridion, whatever that is.
Yeah, Adventure Time.
Whatever the fuck that is. All right. I know what Adventure Time is, but I don't know what that Pirates of the whatever is. Okay. Super Star Wars. Like, I'm not even, that's not even a PlayStation 4 game. That's
from Super NES.
Yeah, that's a Super Nintendo game that is emulated essentially and up-resed just a little bit. Retro style 2D platformer Dandara. Okay, great. JRPG Fairy Fencer F Advent Dark Force, whatever the hell that is. In Raiden 5 Director's Cut, which is fine. Okay, Raiden 5, great. Raiden, obviously. What is Raiden 5 Director's Cut, though? Was that just a PlayStation game, or was that a remake as well?
I don't know what that was.
It's on Xbox One as well. Yeah, Raiden's like a shoot 'em up, like the, like the planes flying in the air and enemies are coming at you, like Space Invaders kind of, but, yeah, it's like a shoot 'em up. But anyway, and the other games are all trash. I mean, I could put the link in the description or whatever, but like, honestly, like it's that Bubsy game is included, like Ben 10, Bokosuko Wars 2. Like, you can't even make this stuff up. The games are poo. Like, you advertise 50 games and they're just terrible.
I think for the general public, they would look at those games and be like, what am I paying for?
Right, exactly. Assassin, what do you got to say about this?
That is 50 new games coming. I mean, that is a good amount of games, even though they're all poo. But
yeah, I mean, if you're a trophy hunter, it'd be worth it, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you have the patience to play through stuff like Neurovoider and one of Assassin's favorite indie games of all time, and I say that completely jokingly. I think this game would definitely be in my top 10 worst indie games that I've played this gen. No Time to Explain. Remember that one, Assassin?
He hated that.
That's included. That shit's included.
Terrible.
Yeah. So Skyscrapers, Soul Axiom, okay, fair enough. Strike Suit Zero Director's Cut, fair enough. I think that was free with Games and Gold a while back. The Metronomicon Slay the Dance Floor. Now that is a good one. Metronomicon, I saw that at PAX. It's like a rocker. It's like an RPG Guitar Hero kind of game. The Metronomicon. It's actually very good. I would say that's actually the best game in the whole lot. Even better than For Honor, in my opinion. I mean, I know a lot of people do like For Honor, so I can't knock it completely, but anyway, so that's the PS Now editions. I mean, I would get the service. I mean, I think the service is still good now because they let you download games, but not for something like that. I mean, if you want to play Red Dead Redemption and you have a PlayStation, you don't have an Xbox, I would say do that. Fallout New Vegas is on there. That's pretty good. So Mafia 3, decent. There's a decent collection of some good games on there. So, and then, not to mention the PlayStation 3 games. But Klaus, do you still have PS Now?
No, I'm thinking about picking it back up because you can download the games now.
Yeah, I'm actually thinking about picking it up too for a couple of months and seeing what it's all about. I mean, I don't know if $80 would be worth it for me personally, but for the year, but I know a lot of people it would be.
3 months for $25 right now too.
3 months for $25. That's a good deal. Pretty good deal. Siberia says never played Fallout, so the thought of Fallout 76 overwhelms me. Well, Fallout New Vegas I think is a lot. Fallout New Vegas, Fallout 3, even Fallout 4, I think. Well, maybe not Fallout 4, but Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas are definitely good entries, like good places to start if you want to start. That still hold, I think, their playability even in today's gaming realm. Yeah, Ashen and Below coming to Games Pass and coming to Xbox. That's kind of a big deal. I think we'll talk about that a little more next week. Ashen comes out when? Is it December 13th? Ashen, or is that Below? Ashen Xbox One release date. Anybody? You guys know? Oh, December 7th, tomorrow. Tomorrow, and then I think next week is Below. So yeah, we'll talk about those next week. But
it's the only thing I don't like about Ashen real quick is that it's very polygon like, so it looks like something from Nintendo 64.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people will be able to pick at the graphics. I actually like the graphic style, but I mean, it's smooth, but it's very, from what I played at E3, and I think it was at PAX. Was it at PAX? Yeah, I think it was at PAX last year. I've had a chance to play it a couple times. It's smooth, but it's very simple. Like, I don't know if they've done anything to the environments a little bit, but it's very simple looking. It's very like plain. At least in those demos, but we'll see what happens. Same thing could be said for Below. I think Below is extremely plain, and kind of boring if you ask me, but who knows? I know they've been touting that they have had some environmental changes. I asked them at PAX last year. I asked them like, what is I think they had a couple guys from Capybara Games at PAX last year, and I asked them what's new, what's different. Like, I saw this at E3, it looks almost the exact same, and he's like, just wait, like the environmental effects are different, the darkness consumes you more, and blah blah blah. Like, there's a lot of just extra environmental and setting changes that really bring the game to its full potential. But I mean, time will tell on that. But okay, what's next? So we talked about the PS Now, we talked about the PlayStation Classic. So Sony stuff has been hit or miss lately. What else? Let's talk about GameStop really quick. And I know this is really close to Clowns. This is really hurting Clowns' ego here. His psyche a little
Best
bit.
Buy is next. Mark my words.
See, Clowns is wanting this to happen at Best Buy right now, not GameStop. But anyway, Clowns, what's going on with GameStop right now? $500 million almost in losses in the third quarter alone. I mean, what the hell is going on with them too?
When I read a couple articles on this when it first dropped, like 3 or 4 days ago, they were saying that it had a lot to do with their sale of like their cell phone division, because they, expected revenue in the cell phone division or something, and that some of those losses are from that. But to be honest with you, I think maybe they ordered too many PlayStation Classics and they just couldn't sell them.
Right, dude. They're probably swimming in that inventory, dude. They're gonna fire sale that faster than they did like Guitar Hero 4 and like Rock Band Beatles and shit like that. There was like literally you couldn't even like walk in the store without touching one of those back in the day. They were just like fire selling the hell out of those.
In all honesty, the looks are coming that these brick and mortar stores are going to be out of the game business soon, because you got Amazon selling stuff that gives like Prime members like what, a $10 credit. You got all these digital services like Game Pass coming, PS Now. They're both growing. In xCloud, going to be working with 5G rumored. So I mean, all that, it's like a hit at GameStop. It's like saying, we don't want used games anymore. We want everything digital streamed. We don't care if we own. We don't care if we rent. We just want to play. And if we could play cheaper, then why buy used?
Yep, you're right. I mean, the used proposition back in the day was all about price and about promotions, right? Like the buy two, get one free, this percentage off of used, being able to play it for 7 days and return it, essentially. Like, how many people did that GameStop rental, right? I know that wasn't like an officially sanctioned policy to use it like that, but I mean, you could try out a lot of games, and if you liked it, you kept it, and if you hated it, you returned it, whatever. Yeah, I mean, about the losses, right? So $488.6 million, the exact number, and that, of course, ended on November 3rd. So how much of that includes really, the success of stuff like Red Dead Redemption 2 and, holiday sales, obviously not really too included when it comes to console sales and people buying games for their loved ones and themselves and stuff like that, and the Black Friday deals they had, all that kind of stuff not included, of course. But so I guess
real quick question.
Go ahead.
Inferno, I know that you used to work at GameStop at some point.
Did
you ever learn what the price GameStop pays wholesale for like a game?
No, but it's lower than you think. It's lower than you think, because GameStop had so much power back then. They could just negotiate, basement prices, because they were the game in town. Like, no pun intended. They were the brick and mortar giant. They had acquired EB Games. No more EB Games in the U.S. really. They had acquired like Babbage's, like all these companies that were challenging them on the brick and mortar front were just being acquired. I mean, back then Best Buy didn't have as much of a presence in terms of video game sales. Circuit City had died off. You know what I mean? So they were really the giants, so they could just negotiate those basement prices. That, like what you're saying about Amazon, like Amazon and Walmart, offering, and even Best Buy offering like pre-order incentive discounts or extremely low prices that GameStop just can't match. Like, GameStop still to this day does not price match. You know what I mean? So what does that say? Yeah, pre-owned sales though this past quarter down 13.4%, which, I mean, that's a good chunk. That's just, indicative of the fact that, GameStop's real moneymaker, which, like you said, Clowns, used sales, is down big time. That's a huge part of their business. New hardware sales were up though. Like, new hardware sales, Xbox One X and PS4 were at, up 13%. Software sales in general up 10.9%. Accessories sales 32.6% growth, but because those used sales were down, they had a huge loss. And like you said, the cell phone division thing, Like that comes up in this article too. You know, they're taking, and Cons, I know you know because you go into GameStop fairly often. You see all like these trinkets and little things they're trying to sell these days. And some of these things just don't resonate with gamers. Like cell phones, people don't want to go to GameStop and buy a cell phone.
I mean, who would trust a used cell phone from GameStop, to be honest with you?
Yeah, absolutely. It probably sold for like they probably sold it for cash. People sell it for cash. Like people aren't going and being like, oh, let me trade in my iPhone right here and let me go ahead and buy an Xbox One X and 10 games or 5 games. Or I mean, obviously you don't get that kind of credit, but people don't just. I feel like people are just doing it for quick cash, if they do it, and then. Like how many times you walk into GameStop clowns and you see like the cell phone thing like loaded with cell phones. Like, people aren't going in there, like, perusing those used cell phones.
Yeah. I mean, I only saw a cell phone stand at my GameStop maybe for, like, 2 months in the summer, like, maybe 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And then after that was gone. I was like, oh, what happened to this thing?
Oh, my God, dude.
Must have did crap.
Dude, in Boston, I can walk into a GameStop right now and take a picture. There's got to be, like, 50 cell phones.
Wow.
Yeah. No, it's and they put in the same cases, like, the PSPs and the 3DSs and stuff. And they're like trying to make room in those little plastic cases, and like they're covering up some of the PSPs. They don't even, or the Vitas. They don't even know they have that shit. Like they'll be like, "Oh, it says in the system we have one, but we can't find it." And then you're like, maybe look behind, you know, the 1,000 Galaxy S4s you have that no one's gonna buy because those things are obsolete as fuck. Like it's. I don't know what game the execs over there were thinking, but Assassin, you got anything to say about this? Oh, go ahead, Clowns. Go ahead.
I was going to say, this reminds me of Sir real quick. I go to this retro game store over here, and he said that GameStop actually had a scandal a while back. I didn't look this up, but this is what he claims. He claims that they have deals with many manufacturers of like DVD printing and CD print, all that kind of stuff, that when the Metroid Prime trilogy came out for the Wii with the metallic case, they were limited in quantity per store. Was doing allegedly was they were going to a third-party printer with permission from Nintendo. Discs or the cases reprinted as plastic cases, and they were sticking like discs in them, almost the same price as the original metallic one.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
But they didn't have the metallic cases, and they were like reprints.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised at that at all. How many times you go into a GameStop, you ask for a new game, and it's a case that's open, they put a little sticker over it. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised at all about that.
You ever go to a GameStop and there's like one disc on the wall, sometimes like a newer title, and you're like, oh, is this used? No, it's brand new. An employee just took it home and played it, but it's still brand new.
Right.
You know, technically, it's really not brand new.
Right. Exactly. And then they had like, you know, like you were just saying about those deals where they, you know, ordered limited inventory and then, you know, boosted up with maybe fake disc or whatever. Like the limited inventory thing is definitely a real thing. I mean, they're trying to like jack the price up on some of their games. What was their game that they like helped publish or something like that? They helped publish a game and they only brought in like very limited copies. I don't know if it was like Bayonetta 2 or something like that. That's vaguely Bayonetta 2 GameStop.
I think it was like
Subnautica. So was it Subnautica? Oh man, I don't remember what it. Go ahead.
No, that Insomniac submarine game.
Subnautica. Stop. Let me look this up. While I'm looking this up, Assassin, what are you thinking about this? When's the last time you've even been in a GameStop? Give us the whole thing.
Oh, I think the last time I went to GameStop was to pick up, I think it was Uncharted 4. You could get it for like $10. But they should make their stores more like approachable. Like I go on my GameStop. I don't know how your guys' GameStops are, but I go on mine. It looks like I just walked into someone who was just hoarding a bunch of things. Like the aisles are made for like all person or a child because everything's just so packed. And then like I don't know if you've seen like the used consoles like before, but they should like lower those, make them more approachable. Cause, like I'm looking at the Switch right now. Normal price for a used is $200 to $80. Like I think I would rather spend $20 and get a brand new one.
Right. Yeah, especially since like they look down upon you if you want to inspect it or anything like that. You know what I mean? When they have huge stock in the back of the Xbox 360s, they don't just like bring out a few for you to check and you pick which one. They like go back there, they grab one box. It's like, here you go. And they frown upon it. Yeah, I mean, it's not, it's getting to a point where they just have so much inventory in their stores and so many displays and stuff. Like, if you look at their front windows, it's like completely blocked with stuff. I mean, it's just, the writing's on the wall. It's not only just the popularity of digital gaming increasing, but it's, it's also the fact that, people just don't experience buying things the same way anymore. Not just like electronics, but just everything. I feel like GameStop is just behind in adapting in the appropriate way. Their definition of adapting is to offer like, Funko Pops and like everything they think gamers would want to buy, when half the time they're out of touch on what they would want to buy. Song of the Deep by Insomniac. Yeah, that they helped publish that. So they're trying to get into a little bit of the publishing game, and they limit copies on some of this stuff just to boost the appeal and boost the price a bit. Yeah, it's shady. It's shady. All right, anything else on GameStop?
No, I mean, it's just sad to see them go, because I really did like the 3-time point system they had going. Then they got rid of that because they were taking losses, and now, it's just, they're a dinosaur, unfortunately. And Best Buy should be heeding a warning because they're next.
Yeah. Yep. Well, at least, not to like overly defend Best Buy. If I buy brick and mortar, I buy Best Buy, but they're really the only game in town. If Circuit City came back and was compelling, I would switch to Circuit City in a heartbeat. You know what I mean? I know Circuit City is coming back, but I think they're coming back in a very like limited, not necessarily a big box store, but more like kiosk-y, more like experiences within other stores, kind of like that. But I mean, over in the U.S., really, Best Buy is all you got in a lot of spaces. I mean, New York City, you can buy stuff at like B&H Photo, and there's other smaller ones, but I don't know. Brick and mortar, I mean, who's gonna want to go buy physical things? Just people who want to own things and be able to hold it. I think in the future, it's just going so, people, and then like GameStop used to be. Remember when GameStop used to be the only people who do like midnight releases, and they'd, have tournaments and stuff before the game came out, and they'd line you up, and there was a huge appeal in that. And now people are just like, screw that. I'm gonna sit on my couch, preload the damn thing, and the second, the millisecond it hits 12 o'clock, I'm playing that, or like 9. Sometimes they release them early. It's things like that. Things like that. Like GameStop's looking for an answer for this. They're looking for something to blame, like something to hold on to that's concrete. You know what I mean? And it's not really something. You know what I mean? I don't think it's just one thing. I think it's just a trend. And yeah, that's why Best Buy could be in trouble too, unless they adapt. And they did adapt, because Best Buy was like on the way down, and then they got a new CEO and adapted. And unfortunately, they have to deal with adapting on multiple different kinds of like electronic sales, not just games and game systems. But Shanzu says he thinks next gen is the last gen for physical media. I'd probably agree with that. Next gen, let's say the next quote unquote gen is like 7 years from 2020. Then we get to 2027. 2027, right? It's probably it. All right, let's get to something that really pisses Assassin off. Get his buns toasted a little bit here. Battlefield 5 already on sale for Battlefield veterans like ourselves here. What is it? 2 weeks later? 2.5 weeks later?
It's a little over 2.
Just a little over 2 weeks after Battlefield 5 officially came out for standard edition purchasers. You can already get it for 50% off digitally if you're a Battlefield veteran, and there have been multiple sales. Target comes to mind. They had it for $30 already physically. Some Black Friday sales in the thing got it down to like $40. For me personally, I think the take home here is never buy games on launch anymore. Especially multiplayer games. If you want to buy a single player game and experience the game, first, and you can't wait for that story like Red Dead or something like that, that's a different story. But even Red Dead was discounted on Black Friday at a lot of spots. You can get it for like $40-something. But Assassin, please tell us your experience with this. I know you tried to maybe get a refund. But tell us, is this you on the slide right here? Are you taking that slap in the face, or what's your feeling on it?
I think anyone who's bought Battlefield 1 that has played any Battlefield literally just stood there while EA comes with their huge steel-toed boot and just got kicked right in the nuts. It's a huge fuck you to anyone who bought it, right? And they know that Xbox and PlayStation, they have these policies, or you play it, or there's no refunds or whatever. Xbox 2 weeks or 2 hours, but they know that they can't get this price match that other places have. Xbox and PlayStation need to have this. Need to sign petitions or put in the feature list.
Did I hear petition? Uh-oh.
Yes, because it's a joke. I felt bad for when Fallout 76 players, the discs were on sale, but not digital. They need to have a price match with other retailers, or just have it with digital. But they need to have something like this. But then with just Battlefield in general, what the fuck is EA and the game is great. Don't get me wrong. Ever since the game was launched, announced, they screwed up the announcement, and they didn't market it. And then when I think EA Play was out, I don't want to point fingers, but I believe it was the guy who got votes from EA that made the EA originals. I believe he said it could be someone else, so don't quote me on it. Mm-hmm. Don't like it, don't buy it. And people were pissed off about that.
Dude, that's just like what are you, Don Matrick, right? Oh, if you don't like the Xbox One, we have a console for you. It's the Xbox 360, right? That never works. But go ahead.
So then people were pissed off about that. And then, a few months go by, still no marketing. And then the beta comes up. It's fun. They had to delay it. But then no one really knew why. And then they don't market it. And surprise, the game's out. No marketing. And then I think last week or something, they had the Battlefield 5 launch party at DICE. And they had this huge poster of all the complaints of what people said about Battlefield. And someone took a picture of it, and it got out online. And now everyone's pissed about that because they're making fun of them. Feeling, these devs had let out some steam. People probably do it. I bet you. Everyone's done it where they made fun of someone when they're not there just to release some steam. And that is totally fine. But you put it at someone's going to take a picture, and it's going to make you look pathetic.
Do you hear this? Blip, blip. You know what that means? It's a sinking ship.
Cons, they'll be laughing all the way to unemployment. Am I right?
I agree with Assassin. I understand his frustration, and he has every right to be mad. Assassin's a diehard. He's pre-ordering the most expensive editions he can at the time, and for people like him that really enjoy the series and Battlefield offers compared to COD, it really is a blow to the face because it's kind of like the Fallout price fiasco. Battlefield 5 sales aren't doing well. So now they do 50% off and try to get so many more people in. And rumor is it's going to go into the vault by February. That's what I'm hearing around Reddit and other places. So it's just a real big kick. You know, at the 50% off, I almost bought it just to have it in case of anything in the future, like 10 years down the line, to say I still got Battlefield 5.
Dude, can you imagine if this thing goes to the vault by February? You got to admit that if this thing goes to the vault by February, it was the biggest failure in Battlefield history. Like, even worse than that 2021 or whatever. What was that other one? Battlefield. I can't even remember because I didn't even like really play it. 2142. That's what it was. That like super futuristic one. Battlefield 2142. I mean, that game didn't like do incredibly well sales wise. Like Hardline, like that was a disaster, right? I would say if this game goes to the vault by February, it was the biggest dud in history of Battlefield.
And I don't think it's going to do that because, like, maybe like with Star Wars Battlefront 2, like it had a huge fiasco, and they're still making it up probably to this day. And that's still not a vault. I mean, that could still be on Disney's part and not EA's, but
the rumor is that's also going to be going in the vault soon.
Yeah, but at least that's appropriate.
Star Wars Battlefront 2, it definitely will be in the vaults sooner or later.
Yeah.
Much sooner. But like, I don't think Battlefield 5 is going to be in the vault by February.
Think about this. So
6 months from
the UK sales charts as of November 28th show that it sold 63% less than Battlefield 1. That's a huge number, and I think it does include digital, by the way. I think it does.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's
if
bad.
the UK has been pretty accurate as far as like trends, especially with like Forza and top games on Amazon and stuff. So I mean that's a big deal. 63% compared to Battlefield 1. So if they keep losing like this, I don't know what the North American markets are, but if they keep losing like this, we'll get more people to probably buy the pass as fast as possible while that content's still fresh.
Mm-hmm. It's sad because I mean, go Assassin.
You say pass, what do you mean?
Like the content, right? Don't you got to pay for the content in Battlefield?
It's all free.
No. There's no season pass in Battlefield.
Okay, so I was wrong. So yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be smart of them then to do the vault, but
the sales. If anything, adding a game that new to the vault will like boost the sales of the vault. You know, boost the sales of EA Access. Even though the game, you know, I think the game is excellent. Like, I know, Clowns, you haven't really played like as much of it because of Fallout 76, but I mean, me and Assassin have been playing it. Like, it's literally like my second favorite Battlefield. Either second or first, honestly. Like, I honestly think it's very, very good. And it's sad. It's sad, but like, if it goes to the vault by February, the only reason it is to boost sales of EA Access, like subscription service. Like, they feel like they would rather have people buying the subscription service than buying the game.
I think they should just at this point take the Fallout route and keep the price low. You know, like half off or like 40% off, in retail as well, like Walmart did with the PC edition of Fallout 76, still $39.99. So I think they should do that with Battlefield 5. We'll get more people in it.
Well, I mean, they might have to at this point because that news broke today, or was that yesterday already, or was it today, about Call of Duty, right? Dropping 30 on PC. Is it PC only that you can get it, the multiplayer and Blackout for $30?
Well, I think it's $30 right now, but I think that's on a sale. I think it's 40
regularly. Well, even so, I mean, then Battlefield 5 essentially has to drop to $40. Like, I know there's a single player, and I know they're adding the single player. They just added one in an update, one of the war stories there. But like, no one cares about the single player. I mean, the single player was reviewed terribly.
The last Tiger, the one that just got added, a war story in the entire game. That's not really saying much, but
wow. So it's the stinkiest, darkest poo of all the poo.
It was definitely a nice take on history because, like, you every time you see a World War II thing, or like a game or a movie, it's usually like British, whatever, the good guys Like this one was with the Nazis. You got to see their take on the war, well, especially way late in the war. It ended, and that was a nice take. I think. Not necessarily have a bunch of campaigns come out as Nazis, but one or two come out is enough of, I think, World War II.
Yeah.
I'm saying, I'm not going to get in.
Yeah, it's... I don't know. Like, the single player had a lot of potential. I think the single player on Battlefield 1 and Battlefield 5 had a lot of potential. But, like, people... I think maybe, as much as I hate to say it, I think maybe Call of Duty had the right idea. It's like people don't really care about some of these single player campaigns anymore. You know what I mean? There's just a select few.
We got a question in the chat. Chief Tommy said it got an 80-something Metacritic. No,
I believe so.
Yeah, I mean the game
because war stories.
Yeah, the single player definitely took away from it, and kind of related to that question from Chief Tommy in the chat. We also have WDFC Podcast or Fastback. I'm guessing that's who that is. Says, why is Battlefield 5 like this? Could it be because they're pushing more experienced devs to help other games, like what happened to Andromeda? The A team was working on Anthem, and Andromeda suffered because of that. But I mean, I gotta be honest. I think Battlefield 5, like, I've played a lot of Battlefield games. I really think it's one of the best. I think the multiplayer is definitely one of the best. So I don't know. I don't even think it's that bad of a game. I just think the marketing really destroyed it.
Marketing. I think the time that they put out the game was still bad. I don't think Battlefield should launch in fall.
Yeah.
I think it should be a spring game.
Yeah, it would dominate in the spring. It would dominate in the spring, dude. Absolutely dominate. Because people are itching for like multiplayer games like that. You know what I mean? There's no good multiplayer shooters that come out in the spring.
I think Hardline sold a lot more than it probably would have done if, because it came out and.
Oh, without a question. I think the delay for Hardline, like, not only for the health of the game, because the game was very buggy and not good, according to all accounts from people who played it like E3. And remember they had that huge setup for Hardline, like on the top of a skyscraper. They had like people playing Hardline and stuff like that. Like, they were pushing that hardcore, and then all of a sudden it was delayed to the spring, and that definitely helped sales of that thing, even though it didn't do super well. Kaibatsu from Iron Lord's podcast says, should have been a spring game released with Battle Royale on launch. Yeah, I mean, I think people are not happy about that Battle Royale being delayed either. I think that's showing in the sales. Battle Royale is hot right now. Look at what, I hate to say it again, but it's true. The way Call of Duty is being managed, I think is perfect. Put out the multiplayer, put out the Battle Royale. Even though I think the zombies is pretty good, I mean, some people just don't give a shit about the zombies, and they'd rather just pay a reduced price and, get the bread and butter. I mean, Blackout's killing it right now. And, no matter what EA does, like, it could be the second coming of Jesus Christ himself, with the Battle Royale Firestorm mode. Like, it's going to be seen as trash because it was delayed. Not necessarily trash, but, you're not going to see stories being like, Firestorm was worth the wait. I guarantee you're not. Because, Blackout by then will be mature. The kinks will be knocked out. It'll still be dominant. Fortnite, obviously, we'll talk about Fortnite a little bit in a second, but Fortnite is adding new stuff all the time. PUBG kind of like dying out a little bit, but, still keeping its little subset. But yeah, I mean, I agree. To kind of like, move off this topic and move on a little bit, to kind of like the question that is at the heart of this topic, is this a slap in the face for day one buyers? And does this really teach people a lesson and maybe make people skittish? I say yes. I mean, I think all of us here were anticipating Battlefield 5 for a long time. And, after playing the beta and how excellent the beta was, for all intents and purposes, excellent. we were really anticipating this thing, and it just you got to be really careful nowadays with your release timing, with your marketing, all that stuff. Real quick, do you agree with this, Assassin? Fastback says EA messed up by marketing more the single player than the multiplayer.
I feel like let me put this. I feel like they marketed the multiplayer and the single player equally, but not. They did more of the customization of the multiplayer.
Yeah,
the single player felt like, because that was a huge time. I still think people to this day think there are ladies with prosthetic arms in Battlefield 5.
Yeah,
all those other skins that they showed, like if you watch, I think the first few trailers on the game, like all that stuff you see is not in the game.
Dude, how about not to mention the mechanics that a lot of people were looking forward to, like dragging your buddy out of combat to revive them and stuff like that. Where the hell is all that?
I heard that was coming. Like,
yeah, well, great,
dude,
like. Shit.
But then I heard that was also like it was becoming more difficult than they originally thought. So I have a feeling that's being put on the back burner.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I haven't heard talks about that for forever. I mean, no gameplay of that, no talk about it, no even like hinting at it, nothing. So, but anyway, let us know what you guys think down in the comments. The chat's been great on this topic. Appreciate you guys all contributing on this one, and I agree with a lot of you guys. But for all intents and purposes, I think Battlefield 5 is one of the better Battlefield multiplayer experiences ever. And it's getting absolutely killed, and I agree with Clowns. I don't think like DICE is going to go out of business. I'm not going to go that far, but I think Battlefield 5, unfortunately, showing all the signs of being a sinking ship at this point, and it's pathetic. It's sad and it's pathetic.
Some of the devs over at DICE need to be stop being so cocky. Like I remember when Battlefield 1 was first shown, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think they were making fun of Call of Duty for their poor showing of their trailers.
Yeah, right.
Saying that they have the best and stuff like that. Like that needs to stop. You're making yourself look terrible. Even though like Battlefield 1 trailer looked a lot better than Call of Duty. Like sometimes, you gotta like Donald Trump and just say what's on your mind.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But it's all about entitlement too, and not to go off the rails here, but like as we continue in history here, I feel like a lot more people are just entitled, and a lot more people are just think they can say and do whatever they want and don't think before they speak. And it's like I don't know what kind of internal marketing testing they did for this game or what some of these companies do, but I feel like, back in the ages when they were, gaming mags like GamePro and Nintendo Power and stuff like that, I feel like the marketing from everyone was on point. No one screwed up marketing back then because they put such a huge emphasis on it. I feel like a lot of these companies are like relying on YouTubers to market for them. They're looking for free ways to market. And it's, I feel like they're just losing touch on what's important. But yeah, I definitely, to move on from this, I definitely think that, this was just a marketing miss because the game is good. The game is good. Chief Tommy says, oh, good.
They have a good setup for their post-launch content. Like their first drop just launched. It's very small delay.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah. I mean, they are doing it right. There's no season pass. They're bringing stuff. The update came out, fixed a lot of issues super quick. I mean, it's only 2 weeks later. They got stuff rolling out. I mean, who knows how many war stories they're going to add? It looks like they're going to add, a decent amount of content, not only in multiplayer but single player. And just because it was marketed poorly and they're missing a lot of features that people are promising, or that they promised to people, I should say. And Chief Tommy says, Red Dead Redemption has a lot of meat on it, and not everyone plays online. So you need to have content for those people, and I agree with that. I mean, Battlefield is really a multiplayer first game anyway. It's become that, so you kind of know that going in. But they're competing with games that have stuff to offer and have a well-rounded experiences, like Red Dead Redemption 2, like that game's come out, it has a ton of single player content, and it's gonna be a multiplayer juggernaut probably for years, just like GTA was. So when you're going up against stuff like that, I mean, you need to really bring it. Kabatsu says, really quick, to be fair, it's Blackout that's making COD so dominant this year. I mean, I agree but disagree. I think also Call of Duty multiplayer is excellent. I mean, some of the diehards don't like not the operators, the, what do you call them, specialists. But, I think the multiplayer is good on COD, and I think Blackout's good on COD. I just think it's a very well evolved and appropriate game for the people that are playing it now. And I do agree with you when you say that the mistake was releasing without Battle Royale. I mean, releasing without all of the features is never, I don't think is a great idea at any point. Okay, last thing before we kind of sneak out of here. I know Assassin's going to jump right on Fortnite after this, because Fortnite added that creative mode, right? Am I right? So if you guys didn't hear, it leaked, and then of course Epic was like, it leaked, let's just let the cat out of the bag. I think they were planning on announcing this at Game Awards, but now official, Fortnite creative mode out for people that own Season 7 Battle Pass. If you don't own that, you're going to have to wait until December 13th. But, I mean, it's essentially what you'd think it is. It's essentially Minecraft and Fortnite. And, you get unlimited resources. You get to fly around. There's a few things that they've added in that you can't do in the Battle Royale. Time will tell, I guess, what those exactly are. But, they invited a lot of, like I said in the last topic, people are relying on YouTubers to do their marketing. They invited a lot of YouTubers to come out and check this thing out. And, the reception's been pretty good. What do you guys think? Is this something you guys are interested in looking at? Do you think this is going to bring Fortnite to, another notch up in superiority, or is this just like fluff?
Creative mode doesn't count.
Oh my god, nice Minecraft reference. Assassin, what do you think, bud?
It's pretty nice that they gave you like an island and you can just do whatever you want, like build and stuff, play games with your friends, and fun time. At least it's probably gonna be better than the Battle Royale, because I'm so sick of looking at someone, they just build a skyscraper, and you're like, and you have to build a skyscraper and kill people. It might get me back, but
dude, I guarantee you, like in a week and a half, you're gonna be on this thing, and you're like, anyone want to play the creative mode? Build the new tilted towers.
Downloading Fortnite again today. I ended up canceling the download. Like, I love that, all these games are getting like these holiday like outfits and snow and
yep
cool. And then I'm like, do I really want to play a Battle Royale where someone's just gonna build a skyscraper and kill me?
Yes,
and think about your friends though. Like, Inferno's got a Switch. He might have Fortnite on the Switch, so maybe if he's at work, he can log in. You guys could play Fortnite.
There you go. Or on my mobile device, on my new Pixel 3, or on my iPad. I don't know. I think it's a good idea. I think one of the things that makes it really cool is that they have these things that they're calling prefabs, and like you can go down this prefab list, which I guess is like a pretty big list, and
there you go.
And you can like just pick buildings from iconic spots on the Fortnite map, on the Battle Royale map. Like you can pick buildings that you instantly recognize from stuff like Tilted Towers, or you know, you can pick items from like Junk Junction and stuff like that. But it literally like just you just go down the list, and there's prefab things. You don't have to, you know. I know a lot of people are kind of intimidated by Minecraft. Like they think they can't build some of the crazy stuff that you see online. But the nice thing about this Fortnite thing is that you can kind of pick prefabricated things to start with, and then, you know, go from there and really customize it to your heart's desire, really.
Love to see them have like what Halo does, where they have like download like other people's like maps and then play them.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I don't know if they have that.
Servers.
Well, this is what it says. This is what it says in the press release. You know, once you build whatever, I'm paraphrasing, I don't want to read it word for word. If you know, once you build whatever it is that you know want to build, you can create a custom game mode around it. So you can do like free for all death matches. You can do like races. I guess it's like maybe like golf. Like they're just gonna be adding more and more game modes to this creative mode. So you can use your pickaxe as like your golf club. So, are you still there, Assassin? Or?
I'm here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can hear you. I just thought you'd have something to say about that. You don't want to play golf with me on Fortnite?
I mean, would you care to lose? I mean,
dude, you keep talking this nonsense. I will dominate you in disc golf, Mario Tennis, Mario Kart, Mario Party, any competitive, like, you know, mini game, or any competitive, like, you know, not realistic sports game. Like, let's go. Let's bring it.
First off, you gotta stop lying to yourself, because you're gonna lose.
Absolutely not.
Grab like 20 boxes of tissues, because you'll need them.
I have them, dude. I went to Costco recently, so.
There you go. You're gonna be crying because your ass is gonna be kicked.
Oh my god. Chief Tommy says the panel seems very excited about the update. I'm trying to bring it. I mean, Fortnite, we don't really play Fortnite too much, but I know there's a lot of people that are excited about this thing, and I'm definitely looking to check it out. I'm not going to buy the battle pass for season 7 just to check it out early. I'll wait until the 13th, but you know, I'm excited to check it out. I think it's cool. I think it has more value, you know, inherently than Minecraft's creative mode. I do like Minecraft, but I think, you know, at least if you get bored with just building stuff, you can do some of these mini games, these game modes, and, you know, do your prefabs and all that. Daz says invite him into the Forza Club. I've tried to invite him, but, you know, Assassin, I don't think Assassin wants to join the Forza Club. I think if you're out there, you're listening, you should you know, search for the Forza Club. What is the exact club to search for? Daz, I can't remember. It's been too long. Put it in the chat and I'll shout it out. But you should search for the Forza Club, where a lot of people are part of it. I think it's up to like 60. Huh?
I didn't say that. So.
Oh, you didn't say that. Okay, I thought you did. I thought you said you didn't want to be in it.
Oh, Daz, I don't think you meant Forza Club.
Oh, what do you meant? The F? Oh, oh wow, I read that totally wrong. But yes, I will definitely put him in the FYU club. Oh my god, I totally missed that. I was thinking, you know, competition, like sports game competition, so I instantly read that club and I saw who wrote it, and I thought that he was talking about the Forza Club, but that's not what he's talking about. He's talking about the Fuck You Up clubs, and I will bring Assassin to that club. But
Are you part of that club?
Huh?
I'm not, no, but I should be, because I'm the king of button mashing. My button mashing skills can outdo any skilled player. I'm saying that right now, because I won tournaments in the arcade just by button mashing repeatedly.
Nice. Dude, I used to button mash like I can't really button mash too well anymore. I don't know. Maybe. I mean, I did like this button mashing test on the web browser. I can get like 360 clicks in 30 seconds. Something like that.
Yeah. I mean, Chun-Li's kick in the corner, button mashing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Guile's punch in the corner.
Oh, Guile's, yeah, absolutely. Oh, Guile's punch in the corner. Oh, my God, dude. Classic. All right, so that's Fortnite creative mode. What else? What else leaked? The Far Cry new game. I think we'll talk about that next week. I mean, do you guys have anything to say about the new Far Cry? I mean, we didn't really get any details, really, just like the cover art, right?
It's gonna be bad. It'll be worse than Far Cry 5, which isn't saying much because that game was terrible.
Oh, you take that back.
Yeah, take that back. I like Far Cry 5.
Your mouth, because it was terrible.
All right. Well, anyway, I think they're gonna show some of that tonight, which would be cool. I think tonight they're gonna show a lot of good stuff. I'm kind of excited for the Game Awards. Yeah, I mean, if it gets really ad heavy, then screw it. But Chief Tommy says #shovelware. All right, people aren't feeling the Far Cry, so let's move on to something I think people are looking forward to. And this was leaked, and I don't think this has yet been confirmed, but there is going to be an announcement tonight about a new Dragon Age game. And who knows if it's going to be Dragon Age 4, who knows what it's going to be, but there is an announcement coming. It has been all but confirmed by Eurogamer and a few other outlets that there will be an announcement tonight about Dragon Age, and it could be Dragon Age 4. And I think a lot of people are excited about that, but it looks like that it will be quite a bit down the road, probably not for another 3 years or so, probably not until next gen, to be honest. At the beginning of this current gen that we're in, there were cross-gen releases, with Shadow of Mordor and Destiny and all that kind of stuff released on the prior gen and the current gen. What they called next gen, which was the one we're in right now, and the 360 gen, there were those cross-platform releases. We've seen that before. I think this one's probably not going to make that, but I could be wrong. So Clowns, you excited about this? I know you're a pretty big Dragon Age fan.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I really did like the last one. I know a lot of people were kind of up in the air about it, but yeah. I mean, I like it because I like RPG kind of games, stories. I get all involved in them, single player, and you really can't get mad at other people playing these games. It's just a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah, Dragon Age Inquisition, if you recall, I think that game won Game of the Year. I'm pretty sure that game won in 2014 or whatever that was. That game won Game of the Year, so.
I remember after that, they were saying something about they would never make another Dragon Age again. I think the numbers weren't there at the sales that they wanted or expected at the time, but revitalizing the franchise. I mean, it's a really good franchise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's definitely exciting. And Kaibatsu in the YouTube chat says, "Great, another Dragon Age game to hit the backlog." I mean, that's, dude. I mean, a lot of games coming out lately are just hitting the backlog, right? But Dragon Age games are notorious for taking up a lot of your time, and so if you don't have, it can get intimidating. I know we've talked about this on a prior podcast, but sometimes you can get intimidated by some of these longer games. But nonetheless, I think it's going to be a very well received announcement later tonight about this game. They'll probably not show anything. Probably be like Bethesda with Starlink, or was the Starlink? What's the name of that game? They announced the new Elder Scrolls 6, and then what was the Bethesda game? God, I can't think tonight for some reason. Starfield. So it could be just a title. Who knows? Assassin, you looking forward to this? Or are you even a Dragon Age fan? Did you play Inquisition or any of the other games?
I bought Inquisition. I kind of regret buying it because I didn't play it much, but I am not looking forward to them announcing it if it is years away. It'd be a waste of time.
Yeah.
Because it's years away.
Yeah.
Rather than have BioWare come out and be like, yeah, we're working on Dragon Age 76, and it's coming out many, many years from now.
Yeah. Yeah. See, that's the thing. Like, I can't get hyped too far in advance like that. I really can't. Like, even when what was it, like last year? Maybe it was even 2 years ago at this point, when at the Nintendo conference, they would just, like, flash the thing that said, like, Metroid Prime 4, and everyone was like, oh my god, Metroid Prime. Like, dude, I love Metroid Prime games, but I couldn't get hyped for a game when I know it's not coming for a while. So, same thing with this. It's like, I think it'll be well received, but, you know, I'll wait a couple years until I really get hyped for it. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it for this week. Game Awards tonight. You guys gonna be watching it?
Yeah, might fall asleep depending on how boring it is.
Oh my god!
I remember last year it was so boring.
Oh man, it was brutal last year. But you know, I think, like, as much as I think that Geoff Keighley is kind of like getting to sellout status. I used to really like him back in the day. But as much as I think he's kind of getting to sellout status, I think he realizes that last year was boring. Last couple of years were probably a little too boring. And I think that's why they've really worked hard on getting, you know, like true, real announcements. And I hope that the advertisements aren't too crazy. I mean, I
never knew this.
Go ahead, Constance.
About the Game Awards, but Phil Spencer's on the board.
Yeah, he's going to be on stage tonight, I think.
Yeah, but I never knew he was actually on the board. Like, he's one of the guys on the board for the Game Awards.
Crazy.
I want to say it's not surprising just because, I mean, he is all for, you know, these games. And
yeah.
Put together for games and stuff. And that's like.
Yeah, he's a huge proponent of the industry in general. So in that regard, like, I'm not too surprised, I guess, either, but at the same time, like, I feel like if he's been on the board this whole time, why hasn't he been more out there about it? You know what I mean? Like, the fact that there are people that would be surprised about it just says that, you know, the awareness of him being on it is down, kind of. You know, it's like,
imagine if he or whatever, the winner, and the shit that he would get if a PlayStation game won, and he announced it, and it was against an Xbox game. He would get so much shit.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. Fastback in the YouTube chat says, "What's more exciting than the 7 esport categories?" See, that I will be turning away from.
It's one of those ones where they don't really go on stage. Be like, oh, I won best esports coach, and blah 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 won best esports player, and blah. Just go through them really really fast. Here's our nomination.
Yeah, dude, like, I sometimes I don't like that because I feel like that those people, for some of those awards when they announce it, that those people don't get the credit they deserve. But when it comes to esports, yeah, I do it. You know, when they do that for some of the indie game categories, like, those are games too, man. Like, those should get some recognition. But like with esports, like, come on. It's fine. Just announce it quick. Rattle them off. Show them, like, accepting their awards and no speeches or anything like that. Let's just, move on.
The esports stuff, I don't know why it's on there, the coaches and stuff. I mean, I get there's probably some really good coaches out there, but it's just a waste of time on those Game Awards. Put them on like a YouTube show or something separate.
I'm in the little thing getting Cracker Jacks. No one cares. I'm sorry, but I hate esports.
Oh. Well, anyway, next week we will be back to talk about the Game Awards, and I'm sure a few of those categories will be surprises to the point where we'll have to talk about them in depth. So we will have that coverage next week. I'm sure we'll be talking about Ashen next week. And and perhaps Below. Who knows? Actually, Below comes out, I think, too late. Oh, no. We may be able to talk about it a little bit. But for this week, I think we're essentially done.
Nintendo 64 called they want their game back.
N64 called they want their muddy claymation graphics back, right? The game is really smooth though. Like it's like 60 frames plus. Like it I know it's obviously capped at 60 on the Xbox probably, but maybe it's one of those games that may run at 120 hertz. Who knows? But it is in 4K, I'm pretty sure. And Below comes out on December 14th, not 13th, so we won't be talking about that next week. Although Fastback just said Below December 10th. Where are you seeing that? December. Let me see. Below release date. See, I thought I saw online as well earlier that it was the 14th.
There we go, Mike.
Oh, the dogs are going crazy. Where does it say the 10th? No, I'm seeing it right now. The game will be released on Xbox One PC in just over a week's time, Friday, the 14th of December. So that's on Digital Foundry or Eurogame or whatever. But Ashen's coming out. We'll be talking about that. But yeah, until next week, we will see you guys later. Search us everywhere, 4 Guys with Quarters. You'll find us absolutely everywhere, except on Twitter, where we are 4GwQPodcast. Give us a like if you really liked what we've done tonight and you are not yet subscribed. Please do subscribe. We've seen our subscriber base go up a bit. Not only because we, Clown sponsored that giveaway, which we thank him for, of course, but also because people are liking the content. We're getting, more and more likes on the podcast, and we really appreciate you guys coming by and doing that. And there's new stuff to come. Podcast is going to be getting a huge facelift pretty soon. We're almost there, just literally like a hair away from changing up a few things here on the podcast that I think you guys will really, really like. And, I think it'll really take us to the next level. But until then, we'll see you guys later. Peace.